Okay, guys. So before starting, some interesting and relevant information I would like to share with you. Um, on this platform, on the Zoom software, we have two communication methods: the chat, where you can text anytime, and also the Q&A boxes. So you can use the one you prefer to communicate with us for any comments or any questions. But I would suggest you, if you have a question, to use the Q&A button, because your question will be fixed in there and my colleagues will be able to support with your doubt. And right after the webinar, we will also have some time to speak about the solution, to speak about if you have a specific project or you want to talk with us about a specific topic. We'll be there to help you right after the webinar. All right. So we are also recording this webinar. You're going to receive an email after maybe tomorrow, I believe, with the recording of this webinar as well as the material. So this material we are sharing, you will receive a copy as well. So officially, welcome to Anviz C2 Series webinar. My name is Leonardo Ribeiro. I am the pre-sales manager for Anviz, and I have a lot of experience with our devices and solution. And today we are going to see what's new on the C2 series family. So stay with me for the next minutes, maybe an hour, and I hope you enjoy the content of today. So here is the agenda for today's webinar. We're going to speak a little bit about Anviz itself, the company, the news of our C2 series, as well as some very interesting case studies using our C2 series, projects with partners using the complete solution of the C2 series family, as well as the Q&A, the questions and answers right after the webinar. So starting about Anviz, at a glance, we are a global leader in the smart security industry. So Anviz was the pioneer of the biometric features on the access control and also the time attendance. We were one of the first to introduce this technology for the market. And we are now split in different parts of the world, including the headquarters that is in Shanghai, as well as the USA office where we have the North American Sales Center, and our manufacturing base very near from Shanghai, maybe 2 or 3 hours by car, where we can produce up to 2 million devices per year. So this is our a briefing of our structure. And if you guys already know us, you know that we are partnering with several distributors, resellers, and dealers all over the world. So here, some of our milestones. So starting at 2005, when we established the company as a global company. So we had Anviz before that, but in a global way, we started at 2005. And at 2007, with the first biometric device as a product from the key product line. So we started with the biometric devices by 2007. So we had a lot of milestones since there, achieving each more and more very interesting and relevant things on the market, as well as, for example, in 2018, our new factory, and up to 2020, our artificial intelligence for facial recognition solution. So we already had promoted that in previous webinars. You're free to consult that at our YouTube channel. We have the recording of those webinars where we speak more about this facial recognition solution. So you will see a lot of interesting content on our social media channels. Here's something about our global network. So as you can see, we have more than 200 authorized distributors around the world, more than 30 solution provider partners, as well as many resellers and many security integrators. So we have different ways to achieve the market. Depending what you're looking for, definitely we will reach up to a solution to fit your necessities with our products as well, our solutions. This is a split of our product line. So since maybe last year, we are starting with the surveillance management solution. We also did a webinar recently for that. You can consult the same way I mentioned before. But now today, the focus is in one of the families of our access control and time attendance solution, the C2 series. But as you can see on the picture, we have many more devices that you can consider depending what your project requests, what is your business method. So you will see different kind of devices to provide a very complete portfolio solution for your system or for your customers, right? And here are some successful cases on this specific webinar. We separated some to use the C2 series, but we also have many other and very interesting case studies that we can share. We have a dedicated space on our Anviz website. If you go there at anviz.com, at case study, you will see very interesting projects, how they use our solution, what are the advantages for them to use our solution, and what is the customer opinion about what our system provides as benefits for them. So we have several and different cases. We invite you to check more details in there, all right? So starting on what's new on the C2 series, as you know, C2, C comes from classic, is one of the first families from Anviz devices. And from year by year, we are enhancing the devices. We are creating new models, adding new features for those models. So basically now we have 4 devices at the C2 families, the C2 Pro, the C2 Slim, C2 SR, and C2 KA. So those 4 that you're seeing on the screen right now. And some relevant characteristics at the bottom that can be used for most of them. The IP65 dust and waterproof, the multi-smartcard smart reader, mobile access, PoE, and mullion type. We are going to explain about them in details in the next pictures, in the next slides, all right? So stay with me. You're going to learn a lot from the C2 families from Anviz, starting with the increasing of 30% recognition speed, which means we have now a new CPU for the C2 series. The same CPU we are using on our Face Deep family that we have in the market since maybe 2 years. And the customers accept that devices very well. The speed, the performance of those devices were very well accepted. So we introduced the same CPU system to the C2 series, which will make the device faster with a better performance, keeping the same quantity or even more capacity for memory, talking about users and logs. So we can reach up to 10,000 fingerprints and up to 100,000 records or logs in the device's memory, all right? Something about the multi-smart card reader. So now the C2 series, we have a very good compatibility with the most used frequencies, the RFID frequencies in the market. So here in this slide, you will see several different frequencies that our devices from C2 family can be compatible with. So we are talking about the standard ones we are already using, for example, the 125 kilohertz, the MyFair 13.56 megahertz, as well as MyFair Plus, Fire, MyFair Ultralight, and some others. Speaking even about the HID iClass and proximity. So we are very flexible with the RFID features, talking about the most common used in the global market. So the next stage will be introducing the compatibility with the NFC as well. So we know there is a huge demand for this frequency in the market, and of course, we'll be up to the compatibility with the NFC very soon, right? Another very interesting feature, the communication with the smartphones. So C2 series brings another communication method for your management with the devices. So we do have an application named CrossChex Mobile that you can download from your iOS, your iPhone, or your Android by the Play Store. And you will be able to see the CrossChex Mobile in there, download it, and enabling the Bluetooth, you'll be able to communicate with our devices. So we have some models for the C2 family that they are Bluetooth compatible. So it will be very easy and fast to communicate with your devices. So with the CrossChex Mobile, you'll be able to synchronize with the device. You'll be able to enroll new users. You'll be able to give an account to your employees. If you're using a time attendance system, they will be able to check in and check out using the phone if necessary, as well as check their records when they are nearby the device. So it's a very flexible system that add another way to manage, not only talking about the CrossCheck standard and the CrossChex Cloud, other two options of software we have that we will be able to comment in the next slides. But just to bring you a very interesting feature that you can enjoy if you want to. And moving forward, the C2 series have models that are mullion type design. What does it mean? So we know that very different countries in the market, a lot of them use the mullion type design. In other words, you can install the device in the door frame. It's very compact and very slim. So you'll be able to make a few holes on that frame and install the device fast, easy, and with a very nice aesthetic. So the device stays very discreet and very clean to do what it needs to do, that is the access control. So it doesn't matter the material of the door frame, you'll be able to install the C2 Slim, for example, or the C2 SR, or even the C2 KA at the mullion type, as the picture in the example. Our devices are also IP65 dust and waterproof, which means the devices have a protection that allows it to be installed in outdoor. So the devices can be in a direct contact with the sun and the rain. They will perform normally. They will support those conditions and keep the access controlled, as well as be used to generate records that can be also explored for time attendance solutions. We can check it right after those next slides. So just to make sure that the devices are IP65 and can be installed in outdoor areas. Another very interesting feature that the installers likes it most, that is the PoE, the power over Ethernet. So with this capacity, the device can be installed using only one Ethernet cable to give the power supply for the device, as well as communicate it with the network. So only one cable is enough to make both features. So it generates much more simplicity to the installer, making the installation cheaper and easier at the maintenance. So this is a very interesting feature our C2 series have. C2 Pro has a wide variety of inputs and outputs to be used as access control. So you will see on the devices outputs, the relay, you will see the Wigan output. Wigan output's very important when we're talking about access control, because it can be used for third-party controllers. So controllers that already exist in the market, and they just need the Wigan protocol to communicate with other readers, with Anviz readers, for example, with the C2 series, for example. So you can take the C2 family and install it, introduce it in projects already existing if you have a Wigan controller in there. So you'll be able to use our devices in that way. And as well as the exit button, if you just want a simple access control and you want to make a switch to get out of the environment. So just pushing the button, the device can receive that information and trigger the lock to open the door, for example. C2 Pro, the one in that slide, maybe the most complete device from that family, the C2 family. It has the capacity to enroll, to manage users using their fingerprint, RFID, as we have seen in the multi-card slides before, as well as the password. So we can combine 2 or 3 of these technologies to make an ambient combination of use, and it will be a very interesting time attendance solution, also cloud-based if you want to provide a hassle-free workforce management. Here, talking a little bit more about the cloud support, the CrossChex Cloud, I'm sorry. So CrossChex Cloud is one of our most recent solutions. It's a 100% cloud-based solution where you can communicate your C2 Pro by internet using the Wi-Fi or using the Ethernet cable, for example, and by your cloud account, you'll be able to manage the system anytime, anywhere. So if you have internet at your phone, or if you have your vacation and you brought your notebook, for example, you can communicate with devices by the internet. You can even have more than 2 devices in different ways at the same account. So it brings you a lot of flexibility to manage your time attendance systems. And I would also like to mention about the upgrade we recently did on the CrossChex Cloud that we have done on April 21st last month, that we add new features for the CrossChex Cloud. For example, from now on, employees have access to the login, so we can create employee account for them. So not only the administrator or the manager can log in at the CrossChex Cloud, the employee itself will be able to check his attendance, to check his records, his data, his shift schedule. They can also apply for leaves. So this is where a very important feature our customers request, that is the ability to create manual records. This is the right word. So the employees can apply for leave, for example, if they are sick, they are going to the doctor, or for example, they have a business visit outside the company. On their own account, they can apply for it. So they will have a button in there to put the date and the time and the reason why they request it. So right after they confirm, their manager, their boss, or the system administrator will be able to check that request, evaluate, and if everything is okay, the boss will authorize that request. So doing that, we create manual records at the system, and that will reflect on the attendance report. So if they are authorized, they are justified, they are not going to be counted as an absent. So the system will understand that, making the system even more flexible to be controlling not only records from the hardware, but also manual records taken straight from the CrossChex Cloud system. We have other very interesting features on the CrossChex Cloud. So if you want to know more about them, feel free to access our website. We have a dedicated page to let you know about how can you enjoy the maximum of our time attendance system using a cloud-based software. Some of the configuration we can use if we want to consider installing the devices as an access control solution. So we have 3 examples right here. First one is using the device as a standalone. For example, you will not use anything else but the device. So you can communicate the relay output directly with the door lock. That can be, for example, a magnetic lock or a strike, or even a motor, an automated motor to open a door. So just the signal from the relay can switch up the system that will interact with the door open, making it very easy to be installed. You can even use the PoE to communicate and give power supply to the device by the same cable as we spoke before. And we can see the exit button on the other side. On the middle slide, we have the SAC 922 configuration. So we are using the devices connected with a controller This is a very interesting controller. I will give more details in the next slide, but the focus in here is to let you guys know that we can use devices communicating with the controller. That can be by weekend or in the controller, in this model case, by the Bluetooth. We are going to check the details very soon. So in this way, you can have a combined access control and also a safer access control. Why I am telling that is a safer access control? Because you're going to send encrypted data from the reader to the controller. The reader will not be connected directly by the lock, with the lock, by the wiring. So for example, if you're installing a device in the outdoor and someone cut the cable, someone take the device off of the wall, the door will keep closed because the reader didn't send a authorizing command to the controller. So that the door will not open. Your system will keep safe. So this is a very interesting feature that we do combining readers with controllers, all right? And at the right side, we also have the same structure using a controller and with a fire alarm. So on the next slide, you're going to understand it better. But here, the difference between them is that with this controller, we can use the Bluetooth communication, and we can also use the WIGAN communication with a RFID reader. That's the case of the C2SR, one of the C2 series members. All of them can be connected by the TCP. That could be the Ethernet cable or the Wi-Fi itself in the case of the C2 Pro. And we can manage all those readers by the network using the CrossCheck standard if we're considering access control solution. Oh, here it is. I was mentioning the previous slide about the SAC 922. This is our brand new access controller. We are going to release it in the next quarter at Q3. And what is the interesting from this controller? For the guys that you already know, our previous controller, the SAC 011, we will keep that. We're going to still use it. But if we want now to control two doors with the same controller, this is the one we're going to use. Plus, we don't need to use the WIGAN anymore. Of course, if we want, we will be able to, because it keeps with one WIGAN input. But the new now is that we have the Bluetooth communication. So with the Bluetooth module, we can connect up to 2 Anviz readers by the Bluetooth to manage the same door. So we have 2 advantages in here. So one more reader to be communicating on the controller and less wiring. We were going to use less wiring. The WIGAN D0, D1, the ground, we won't need this anymore. So it makes the installation even easier, and the aesthetic can be even more beautiful because you're avoiding to install more cables on it. So the reader will have one relay output for the door control, but it will also have one input for fire alarm. So the fire alarm is very interesting. It was another request from our customers in case that a project has a fire system alarm, and in case of a fire in there, the alarm can send a switch to the controller. Once the controller receives it, it can open the door and kick the door open. So everybody can evacuate the environment as fast as possible to avoid further accidents. Another interesting feature is that the SAC will be able to communicate with the CrossCheck software itself. So on the same software that you manage your readers, you'll be able to manage the controller as well, making everything together under the same platform, which will be much easier for the installer, for the operator, for the system administrator to manage the solution as a one. The exit button that we already had on the previous version, and we can store users on the controller memory itself. So we can reach up to 3,000 users. Of course, if we are talking about fingerprint users, we will still need the Anviz readers, but if we are talking, for example, about RFID cards, we can store them directly on the controller. So we would not need to enroll them on the readers itself, or we can do a double enrolling for double checking, up to 100,000 records. So telling that, we can note that now we will be able to offer you a very versatile access control as an option for your project. With those functions, it will combining the controller with the C2 series, we can make an even more complete and competitive access control application. Another very interesting feature that we are updating now is the user manual for C2 Pro, the user manual 2.0. Now the manual will be as much complete as possible. We are working to release it very, very soon with all the details of the product. So you're going to check on this manual that we will have explanation for all the menu interfaces, all the fields, all the options. So doing that, you will, if you want, you'll be able to read in details everything that the device can be able to provide you. So you can explore as much as possible of the Anviz hardware features. Combine it with the software if you're using the CrossCheck solutions. And it was already time for a new look. So we are also upgrading the design on the C2 Pro and C2 series boxes. As you can see on the right side of this picture, we are going to enhance the boxes of our devices as well. Very interesting slide. So this is something to be shared with the sales team. So if you are a sales representative of your company, it is also interesting for you to know that something that how we position our C2 series in the market. You can see very different brands in the market nowadays, global speaking. Of course, if you're local, depending on the region you are, you will know a few of those models, maybe not them all, but in a global way on this comparison involving pricing and features and user experience. We can say that we have maybe the most complete device with very interesting features, several features, with a very good user experience. This is a feedback, general feedback from our customers. They like the C2 series a lot, and I believe they will like it even more with those new functions we are introducing in this webinar, and with an accessible price. You can say that with the features and the user experience, and with the lower price than the competitors, we can have an advantage. So this is where we win. All right, let's keep proceeding. Now talking about some case studies. So now that we introduced what's new on C2 series, we want to share some projects we have using the C2 series itself, starting with the C2 Pro that is being used for one of our customers that is a chain service store for automobiles. So they have more than 100 offices spread through the country, and each one of those offices, they have at least one C2 Pro, and they connect all those devices in the same CrossChex Cloud account, so they can manage the time attendance for their employees anywhere, anytime for 100 plus offices. So it's a very flexible, but in the same time, a complete system that they can do a lot of management tools. For example, if they have employees that are allowed at 2 or more offices, they can give permission for this employee to check in one of the offices, to check out in another, give even access control permissions if necessary. Standard and basic features of access control, of course, because the focus of the CrossChex Cloud is the time attendance. But what we want to let you guys know is that this company is very satisfied with the flexibility we can provide using the C2 Pro combined with the CrossChex Cloud for several offices at the same platform. Another interesting case study we would like to share is about the C2 Pro integration with a United Kingdom student platform. So at the right side is the name of our partner, Seats. They integrate our solution with their own time attendance software. So they have a dedicated software for the students at several universities at the United Kingdom, and they're using our C2 family to check in to get the records from the students. So the hardware, the physical hardware in there on those universities is the Anviz hardware, where they will be able to check in and check out and integrate the solution as together with many other relevant features they provide in their software. So this is another advantage if you're talking about system integration. So if you are a software developer, or if you already have a third-party solution that you don't want to use our softwares, but our hardware would be useful at your solution, you can contact us. We will be able to send you the SDKs, the APIs, all the integration tools that are necessary to communicate our solution, our hardware solution with your software solution. And the last case study, maybe the simplest one, but also very useful. You can be an online retailer partner. So this is an example from a partner we have at United States that they resell our solution at the online shoppings like Amazon or even e-commerce. So they are selling our solution by there with their own dedicated support. And in this picture, you can see some of the evaluations of the customers about our solution being sold in there. So customers that bought our solution in the online retailer partner, they gave their opinion and they gave their conclusion about their experience with our systems. So this is another way you can use to make business with our solutions. Of course, we'll be able to give you all the necessary support if you want going that way. Okay, guys, I think I talked too much. We have some content to finish, but before that, I would like to know if we have questions, if we have comments about it. So now it's the time. So if you did a question, I'm sure my colleagues already replied to you on the Q&A boxes or in the chat. But if you have a specific project, if you have a specific comment you would like to talk, let me know and we can open the microphone for you. In this meantime, I will drink a little bit of water, but it's up to you guys. I'm waiting for your comments. All right, so if we still have some time, if you're writing, don't worry. In the meantime, I can continue with the next steps of the webinar. And we can still have a time at the end. So talking about the support from our awesome team, this is an interesting feature you can consider when making business with our solution. We are offering 3 years warranty. That's right, 3 years warranty for our devices, a very uncommon number if we're talking about electronic devices. So we are good at what we do, what we provide. So that's why we can offer 3 years on these devices. So if you want to know more details about the warranty policy, here is the website. You can check it, how our policy works, but there is nothing to hide in there. The warranty is to 3 years period. And we also have a project portal where if you have a specific project, if you have something that you want and the support for that, you can fill your project in there. It's a form that you will let us know your contact and the project's requirement. So registering your project, we can give you some advantages. The first one is to protect your project from other competitors. So if you're the first one to register that project, we are 100% sure that any of other competitors using Anviz solution will compete with you in there. So you will have the priority to use our solution and get this project done, as well as special pricing that we can provide and dedicated support if necessary, some customization, or if necessary to adapt a solution to fit the project's requirement. You will have a dedicated we have a dedicated team to help you with that. So feel free to write us at partner@anviz.com, or even at the website to contact with ourselves. Our regional team will contact you, and together we can check how make the best strategy to reach up our businesses. And another very interesting platform, that is the Anviz community. So if you go to community.anviz.com, it's a new platform. We released it maybe 2 months or 1 month ago, where we have a dedicated channel to talk, to exchange ideas with all the chains of our partners. So we are talking straight with end users, with dealers, with installers, integrators, and even distributors. You can create a post for a specific topic in there, and we can keep in touch to help you, to support you with your requirements. We also share in there stories of case studies, customers using our solution, their opinion, how they can explore the maximum from our devices, as well as feature requests. For example, if you have an Anviz device, but you would like to have something that the device cannot provide you yet, we have a dedicated space in there. You can suggest Anviz how to improve our solution. We are very attentive to those trends, to those suggestions from the customers. Some of them we take a very good care in consideration to bring them as a reality. So for example, we can see the CrossChex Cloud application, we can see the multi-smartcard reading. So all of those features, they were requested by our customers. So we provide it as according to the demand, to the solutions of our partners, as well as many other very interesting information. So you can check in there by community.anviz.com. So if we don't have any other comments, Felix and Lulu, if you can help me with the questions, I would like to appreciate your attention in here. I'm asking you to follow us on our social medias. You can reach up to Anviz Global. You will find all the channels we have, like LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, as well as Twitter. And here I let my email address at the bottom, leonardo.ribeiro@anviz.com. Feel free to send me a message if you have a specific topic to comment. I'll be happy to support you. It will be a pleasure for me contacting you to provide you as many information as possible from our devices. So guys, if you have any other questions, any other comments, I'll be here to the next minutes to solve them. And if you don't, thank you very much to be with us today. Remembering tomorrow, we will have a similar webinar dedicated to the Spanish language. So for our Latin American customers, as well as Spanish speakers from Europe and other continents, feel free to join us tomorrow. I'll be here together with you guys once more. And as I told you before, we will share this material tomorrow with the recording of this webinar, as well as the material. So guys, thank you very much once more. I hope you have enjoyed today, and stay tuned to our news. We'll be happy to support you on there. Take care, people.